So if you've been playing Minecraft for a while now, you know that if you go into your inventory in creative and you go to a special tab, you can get something called the Debug Stick. And the Debug Stick allows you to change block properties. So for example, I have a fence here, and with this Debug Stick I can change how it connects and has is waterlogged and all this stuff. So yeah, it just does that. Pretty cool, right? So why are we even talking about the Debug Stick in the first place? Well, sometimes us builders, we get pretty bored with the normal scope of Minecraft, and we look outside for things that are unique and have different shapes, stuff like that, and the Debug Stick and similar tools lets us do that. So today, I'm going to show you how I use the debug tool. I'm just going to say that in general because I'm not just going to be using the Debug Stick, I'm going to use Axiom and World Edit, stuff like that, to make cool looking things. So yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, so let's talk about Axiom for a little bit. So when I build using the debug tools, obviously I use Axiom. I'm a bit of an Axiom fanboy. So if you don't know how to use Axiom, download it, go learn it. There's a few videos online. I might put some in the description below if you want to watch it. But here's some of the basics. So if you hold left alt with Axiom, it brings up this UI, this menu. And on the left here, you got different tools pretty much. So you got no clip, angel placement, so that allows you to place blocks mid-air, fast place, stuff like that, infinite reach. But the ones we're looking at would be tinker, no updates, and force place. Now what these allow us to do is, well, first tinker allows us to tinker the blocks. So essentially it gives us a debug stick as our hand, and we can right click on a block to change its block properties. No updates means that you can pretty much, it doesn't update any block around it if you place a block or break a block, stuff like that, so that doesn't update the block. And the last one, force place, means that we can place blocks that you normally can't place, if that makes sense. So for example, if I get like this peony here, you can only place these flowers on grass and moss, I think, stuff like that, but we can place them on concrete or any block for that matter. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So those are the, yeah, there's the no updates tool working. It doesn't update the block. So those are the tools we're going to be using to make pretty cool looking details. And yeah, okay, time to show you some examples. Now to show you some examples, I've built this little house here that's not finished at all, but what we're going to do to it is improve it by using debug tools, blocks, etc. And yeah, so first let's start with the windows. What I see a lot of builders do on Pinterest and stuff is they use walls for their windows. And now if you normally place walls, so for example here, you see how it connects to the side. Well, we can actually change that, so we can, let's use one for example. So it connects to the side, but we can remove this part, so it's shifted slightly to the left. So if I place a normal one here, you can see how this wall is shifted slightly to the left while this one's in the middle of the block. And when we do that, so if I Control C, which copies the exact block and place it here, you got this really nice, like, it's kind of like a half slab, but it's better than having this wall in my opinion, because it feels too blocky. And yeah, so using this is such a good way of framing your windows, and that's exactly what I'm going to do for all these windows. So yeah, let's do that. So this is what it looks like after we've done all the window framing and all the wall stuff. And here for the frame of the door, I've also done it as well using red nether bricks. Let me put that back. Using red nether bricks, and because the wall sits halfway through the block, it sits flush with stairs, so you can create this really cool door frame or arch even. I thought it looked pretty cool. So yeah. So to finish the windows, we're first gonna add a backdrop to them. And what this does is creates a lot of depth when you look at the windows. So I'm using kelp blocks because they have this nice line texture to them, which I think works really well with windows. And I'll do one here as well. But you can use any block, to be honest. I think dark blocks work better because of how darker blocks create more depth. But you can use any blocks. I've seen people use lights as well, like, is it called frog lights? Yeah, these blocks, and I don't know, they look cool. But yeah, using a backdrop is really good for creating depth in your windows, especially if you're not going to do an interior. So yeah, also make sure you fill in the spaces between your backdrop and the window, otherwise you get that ugly space that you can see. So yeah, just make sure you do that. So after you've done all of that, now we're going to move on to the little details you can see. So using blocks that are like thinner, so snow, trapdoors, even carpets, we can create cool looking patterns like, oh, not there, here. And that basically just separates the window, creating different spaces between them. So I'll do one here as well. And just having that, it just looks cool. I think it just looks really cool. Maybe swap this for a trapdoor. Yeah, let's keep it like that. Now for three block wide windows, if you push the backdrop, actually for any size windows, if you push the backdrop even more, you can overlay different type of blocks. So actually I'll show you an example right now. So here I've taken the exact same window as this one, but I've pushed the backdrop, the kelp blocks, one block further back. So what I was saying was by moving it further back, you can overlay different blocks such as iron bars. So I'll use this for example. Oh, there. And that basically allows you to just create more shape and patterns through them. Another one I love to use are end rods, because they actually glow, and I think that looks really cool. It also matches, I think, the width of the iron trapdoors as well. You could also use glass. I mean, this doesn't come through nearly as well as other ones in my opinion, especially if you're using kelp, which already has that line. But it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty cool. So just to be aware, you can mess with the shape and overlaying blocks. This is such a good technique for doing little details. So yeah, back to the house. Now that the windows are done, this build is starting to come together. The windows look super cool. I think it just looks really cool. I love this one as well, the one at the bottom. Yeah, this is such a great way of just improving your builds in creative. Just using different blocks and different ways of changing block properties to make your own shapes. Such a cool way. Okay, so once you've sorted out your windows, next we're going to move on to, I think this is my favorite part while using debug blocks and stuff. It's to do with plants. So yeah, let's go through that. Before we begin though, let's quickly talk about plants. So there's a lot of plants in Minecraft. If you didn't know, that's not the right page. This one is. Yeah, there's a lot of plants, and recently Minecraft added a bunch more, like the cactus flower and the dry grass as well as the bush. But I think you can separate the plants into two different types. So the ones that grow, such as like the seeds and the torch flower, stuff like that, like these ones, sweet berries even, and the ones that don't grow, such as flowers. And I love to use the seeds because they have like intermediates, if that makes sense. So I've taken the carrot, potato, and wheat, and using these tools, make sure they're on, by the way, because just a disclaimer, if you don't have no updates on and you break a block that's not supposed to be there, it will update everything around it, and if that block's not supposed to be there, it'll break everything around that too, and it's just, you'll break everything. So make sure that's on. These three are on. Very cool, very important. So like I said, they have intermediates. So obviously you've probably seen a wheat seed grow before, and using the tinker tool, we can change how the block looks. So this is such a great way of having like grass in your build if you don't want to use the normal grass texture like this, especially because the green color, depending on the biome you're in, it just looks really desaturated, and sometimes you want a bit more of a brighter color. So this is great, the wheat seed. The carrot seed as well, it looks pretty different, but it's still got that nice green color. And the potato seed, it's taller, it's more smaller, but also like, I think it looks great as well. So these are great for using in your build. So for example, if I control C again, which copies the exact block, and we can place them around here, maybe one here. That's just really cool. We can also just place them normally and decide on which one we want there. I think that looks nice. You can also place them on the side of walls, and that creates a lot of like, I don't know, it just makes it look like it's climbing up the build. So all I'm gonna do is going crazy with grass and all these different types of seeds is just make the build look more green, pretty much. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in a time lapse and I'll talk you through it. So when it comes to adding debugged plants in your build, you want to make sure that the focal point of your build is still the build. So don't go overboard with so many plants that it just completely distracts you from the building. Another thing you want to work on is connections through different plant textures. So for example, you see the fern texture that goes really well with the bamboo texture, and that way you can create like your own type of plant. And finally, it's trial and error. This whole process is trial and error. Like every video I say, building is trial and error. So see what you like, see what you don't like, and mess around with that. And hopefully you come to a point where you like your build. Now this build is starting to look really like Instagram worthy. So yeah, that just shows how the greenery really affects any build, to be honest. But when you do it like this, when you use debug stuff, it just looks really cool. This looks really cool. I'm really happy with this. So finally, to finish up this entire build, I think we just need to work on little details like pipes and stuff and finish that door frame. So yeah, let's get to it. So I've gone ahead and I've just grabbed a bunch of different blocks that I think would work really well for the little details that I want in this build. So I think I want a pipe here. So here's a little pipe design for you guys. If you put a lever, that creates a 45-degree angle, and using iron bars, but I don't want the iron bars like this. I want them to be like singular. So what I'm going to do is, again, just place one normally and then Control C, which copies the exact block. If you hover over it, it tells you what the block properties of it are. So this means that it doesn't connect, and that way we can create a really thin looking pipe that connects to the building. I think this looks great. You can also use chains as well. So if I show you like this, oh, there you go. That works really well as well, but I kind of like the lighter color, so we'll stick to iron bars. So there's a pipe design for you guys. Next is the door frame, where I want to use oak doors because I like the top half of them. This part, they look really cool. And because we have no updates on, this won't destroy the whole door. I also want to use spruce trapdoors for the bottom layer. I think that could look pretty cool. And on the top, we'll figure something out. So we'll do it other side here. Oak door. Can't spell. Trapdoors. So do it like that. Oh. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. And for the top, I was thinking some copper trapdoors just to like get some green in. Yeah, I like that a lot. That looks really cool. So there's our door frame. There's our door as well. It doesn't work properly as a door, but it looks cool, so who cares? Next, I want to finish up the details with some glass panes by tinkering the side of them, not that side. Oh gosh, I'm messing everything up. There you go. By tinkering this side, we can create some like pillars on the side that bring the build more forward. See how that kind of works? It brings it more forward. And I also want to add a telephone line probably around here. So I'm going to use some nether brick fences, some mud bricks, and just more of them just to make a telephone line. So I actually got this design on Pinterest. I saw this. So I'm just going to use that as inspiration. Yeah, using Pinterest is such a good way of finding ways of using this type of building style to make really cool looking details. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. I'm actually going to debug this side of the fence as well. There you go. It just brings more like story to the build. So there you go. Using debug stuff, using the tools we have from Axiom and World Edit and all that stuff, we've pretty much made this build look 100 times better, in my opinion. So I'll put a before and after. And yeah, there were some examples of using debugs in your build. Now, those were only a few of the capabilities you can do with debugging in Minecraft. I've seen people use it to make realistic eyes. I've seen people use it in organics. I've seen people even use it in terraining, and that's super cool. I think this is such an inventive way of building in Minecraft. It's so unique, and people should use it more. It looks really cool. Before this video ends, I want to say thank you for 6,000 subscribers. That is insane to me. Like, I don't even post properly and you guys are still subscribing to me. That's super cool. And I'm also going to be starting a Discord very soon, so watch out for that. And I promise, I'll be posting more regularly. Hopefully. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.